Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. Today we're going to be unboxing a really cool group of CGC certified comics. Now all these are going to be Silver Age, horror, or sci-fi titles, and these are all going to be super rare. We're talking about 5 or less on the complete census for CGC. Every one of these titles, maybe 2 or 3 on the census. There are a couple exceptions in here that have maybe 10 or more, but out of these 25 books here, we say 20 of them have 5 or less across all grades. So super rare titles from the Silver Age. Now this was a one-owner collection. We bought this a few years ago. It sat on the shelf for a while. We sent it to CGC to get graded. You know, these are all going to be pretty high grade. We don't expect anything under a 7. We think these are a 7.0 to 9.4 range. So we think these are going to be pretty high grade, you know, for the era and the fact that they're horror or sci-fi titles. People really didn't collect those that much from the Silver Age. Everybody's into the superheroes. So these are going to be super rare, super light on the census. So let's go ahead and cut into these. We don't know what we have here. We haven't checked our grades yet. So we're excited to see what we got back. Like I said, there's 25 books in here. So we'll try to go as fast as we can through these. You know, you just don't see that much horror or sci-fi from the Silver Age. Like I said, by that point, everybody was focused on the superheroes. So these weren't really heavily collected. So the census is light for all these titles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first book here. All right. Strange Suspense Stories number 58 from Charlton Comics. This is from April of 1962. This is off-white to white pages. As you can see, this is a CGC 6.5, and this is the only one on the census. So this is finest known CGC 6.5, the only one that exists graded. That's super cool. You know, we've never seen one of those. That's a very, very crisp cover. What do we have here? Looks like we're in a Charlton Comics group. Strange Suspense Stories number 1 from Charlton Comics. This is from October of 1967. Now this is the first issue of this title since October 1965. This is the only one in 6.5. There are 6 higher, and there's a total of 17 on the census. So this one here has the most so far, since we only did the one book. This here has 17 on the census, but we're talking about a book from the mid-60s. Don't expect a lot of these to pop up in high grade or at all. So if there's only 17 on the census, you can expect, you know, over the next 10 years, that number's not going to climb much, maybe 2 or 3 more books. Super cool, pretty good grade, 6.5. We did expect a little higher. So far, we're in the 6.5s. We were expecting 7 or higher on all these, but 6.5, close enough for us. Cool. All right. Strange Suspense Stories number 2 from July of 1968, Charlton Comics. This is the only one in 7.5. There's 7 higher and a total of 12 on the census. Now this here is a Steve Ditko atomic bomb cover. A lot of people didn't know that Steve Ditko did some of these horror titles or sci-fi titles. He's better known for all the superhero covers, but once again, nice, super cool Steve Ditko cover here, 7.5. Now we're starting to get a little higher grade. That is a really, really cool cover. People love those atomic bomb covers from the Silver Age. Okay. Keep it going. Strange Suspense Stories number 3 from September of 1968, Charlton Comics. This here is the only one in 7.5, and there are 3 higher. There's only 7 on the census. Now we're starting to drop down. A lot of these series here, everybody collected issues 1 and 2, and as you went on, everybody started to drift off. So once you start getting higher in these number counts, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up, you're going to see a lot fewer books on the census. So here you have the only one is 7.5, only 7 on the census total. It's a super cool run. Surprised more people didn't collect these horror books from the 70s. I mean, from the Silver Age. Here you go. Strange Suspense Stories number 4, Charlton Comics, November 1968. This is a CGC 7.0. Off-white to white pages. There is only 1 in 7.0, 3 higher, and a total of only 9 of these on the census. So once again, under 10, you know, all these Silver Age books, don't expect them to jump up to 20, 30, 40 books on the census. This is going to be hard to find in 7.0 or above. Like I said, these weren't really heavily collected. Oh, these are great covers. Love these old books. All these old horror and sci-fi books. Next we have Space Adventures number 2. We're on to Space Adventures. Still Charlton Comics, July of 1968. This is the last Paul Mann cover and art. There's only one in 5.5. Ooh, that's the worst one yet. Hopefully that's not going to be a trend we're setting here. It's only one in 5.5, 11 higher, but only 13 on the census altogether. So once again, you're talking about a very, very low census for these. The Charlton Comics weren't people's favorite title of the time, so a lot of these small press or smaller press titles from the Silver Age aren't really heavily collected. They're getting harder and harder to find nowadays. Space Adventures number 3 from September 1968, Charlton Comics again. There's only 2 in 7.0 and 3 higher. There's only 8 of these on the census altogether. These really cool space covers from the Silver Age are great. Okay, keep it going. Here we have Space Adventures number 4 from November 1968. Charlton Comics. There's only 1 in 8.0. Now we're getting up there. Keep it creeping up. We have an 8.0 here. There's only 3 higher and only 10 on the census altogether. Once again, off-white to white pages. A lot of these Silver Age books, they're going to have off-white to white pages. You know, it all depends on how well they were stored in people's collections, and a lot of people didn't collect these horror and sci-fi titles and keep them very nice. So a lot of them are going to be off-white to white pages. Okay, let's see what we have next here. Ghost Manor number 1. This is from July of 1968. Once again, Charlton Comics. There's only 1 in 6.5, 16 higher for a total of 22. Now the reason there are more of these than any of the other ones is because this is the first appearance of Old Witch. So this here is a significant title. That's why there are more of these. But once again, 22 is not a whole lot when you're comparing to some of the superhero titles. So very low census run for all these books here. 6.5, we were hoping higher on that one, but what can you do? Okay. Ghost Manor number 2. This is from September of 1968, Charlton Comics. There's only 1 in 6.5, only 1 higher, and only 3 on the census. Like I said, all these are going to be super low on the census, especially when you start getting off the first issue. The premiere issue, number 1, everybody collected. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as they went higher, people started dropping off. So you're not going to find a lot of these to grade. And you're not going to find a lot of them graded over the years. All right. Ghost Manor number 3, Charlton Comics from November 1968. 7.0. That's a little bit better, but you see the pages here are definitely off-white. Now, there's only 1 in 7.0, 3 higher, and only 4 on the census altogether. So under 5 on the census, you can expect over the next decade, even if that number doubles, you're still under 10. These are going to be very rare titles to find as the years go on. We're already talking about the late 60s. So don't expect a lot of these to pop up if you're collecting these old horror or sci-fi titles from the Silver Age. Oh, 5.5. Not looking good here. Ghost Stories number 1 from Dell Publishing. Published September to November 1962. There's only 1 in 5.5 like this, 3 higher, and only 5 total on the census altogether. Off-white to white pages. Now here's one significant title, but only 5 books on the census. So this here is super rare to find these days. 5.5, we're hoping for higher, but that's a nice, solid, mid-grade collector level book. Super cool. This painted covers from Silver Age are awesome. Okay. I think we're going to be going with Ghost Stories here. Ghost Stories number 14 from June of 1966, 9.4. There's only 1 of these in 9.4 on the census, 3 higher, and a total of 5. 5 books on the census altogether, and look at these white pages. Look at the back of this. That is nice. 9.4. I thought that would probably be the finest known. I can't believe there's 3 higher than this. Super nice. That is crisp. From 1966. Okay. More Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories number 15 from September of 1966. This is the only one in 8.5. Still a great grade. There's only one higher, but only 2 on the census. So this is the second finest known. Can't believe there's only 2 of these on the census. Check out the back here. White pages. BB gun advertisement for children. Can't beat that. That's a very, very crisp title. Very crisp cover. Super white pages. That's great. Okay, let's see what we have now. I think we still have a few more ghost stories here. Ghost Stories number 17. This is from March of 1967. This is a 7.0. There's only 1 in 7.0, 3 higher, and a total of 4 on the census. Once again, super crisp white pages on these. That is fantastic for these Silver Age books. These are the Dell 12-cent issues. Dell did reprint these, I think, in 15-cent issues later on, but these are the 12-cent. All right. Ghost Stories number 18. This is from May of 1967. 9.0. Now we're talking. Like I said, we knew there was going to be some near mint to mint books in this group, so I'm glad to see some of these over a 9. Off-white to white pages. Now, there's only 1 in 9.0, but there's 4 higher somehow. We don't really know how they're higher, but there's 7 complete on the census altogether, so still under 10 on the census. Like I said before, don't expect these to come out of the woodwork. So 7 on the census now. In a decade, maybe there's 10, 12. So once again, these are going to be some rare titles to find in any grade, much less mid-grade or high grade. Ghost Stories number 19. From August of 1967. Now this is an 8.5, CGC 8.5, off-white pages. There's only 1 in 8.5, 2 higher, and a total of 4 on the census altogether. Almost white pages, but a little off-white. Getting close, though, to having super white pages. These books, like I said, from the Silver Age, hard to get white pages in them, so I'm glad to see that we have a few. Okay, we only have a handful of books here left. Now, starting a new series. The Mini Ghost of Dr. Graves, number 1. Now, this is Charlton Comics, May of 1967. This is a CGC 7.5. There's 4 in 7.5, 15 higher, and a total of 26 on the census altogether. Once again, this here is going to have a few more on the census, and the reason is because this is also Steve Ditko interior art on this. Steve Ditko did some of the interior art for some of these horror titles, like we mentioned before, for Charlton Comics. So a lot of people collect Steve Ditko comics, especially these early Silver Age books. That's why there's more of these than some of the other ones. This here is, I guess, the highest census we had so far, 26. Steve Ditko interior art, CGC 7.5. Super cool. The Mini Ghost of Dr. Graves. Continuing with that series, this is issue number 2 from July of 1967. This is CGC 7.5. There's only 1 in 7.5, 4 higher, and a total of 8 on the census altogether. This is off-white to white pages. Once again, super nice covers on these Silver Age horror books. Here you have another Ghost of Dr. Graves, number 3, Charlton Comics, September 1967. This is a CGC 7.0. There's only 1 in 7.0, 2 higher, and only 3 on the census altogether. Like we said before, once you start getting off issues 1 and 2, the census count starts going way down. There's only 3 of these complete on the census in any grade. So, like I said, getting rare in these titles as you start creeping up in the numbers in the series. Let's keep it going with Dr. Graves. Dr. Graves number 4 from November of 1967. This is a CGC 6.5. There's only 1 in 6.5, 2 higher, and 3 on the census altogether. Love these Silver Age horror books. These covers are great. Just don't see cover art like that anymore. The Mini Ghost of Dr. Graves, number 6, Charlton Comics, from May of 1968. There's one in CGC 7.0 and only one higher, only two on the census. So here is the second finest known for this particular title, this particular issue. So this is a 7.0, only one finer, only two complete on the census. Once again, like I said, super rare titles, these old horror titles. We have some collectors with us that just collect horror and sci-fi titles from the Golden Age, Silver Age. They're getting rare. They're getting scarce on the market. The mini goes to Dr. Graves, number 7. This is from July of 1968. Once again, Steve Ditko interior art. This is CGC 7.0. There are two higher, but only 3 on the census altogether. Like I said before, a lot of people collect the Steve Ditko early books, and this is only 3 on the census. These are going to be hard to find if you're a Steve Ditko fan. You better collect some of these books now rather than later, because it's going to be tough to find. Here we go. Issue number 8, Charlton Comics, August 1968. This is 7.0. There's only 1 in 7.0, 2 higher, but only 3 on the census altogether. Once again, tough to find these. 3 on the census. They're not going to come out of the woodwork and surprise you with boxes of these. And our last book for today. Here we go. The mini goes to Dr. Graves, number 9, from October 1968. 7.0, once again, Steve Ditko interior art. Only 1 to 7.0, 2 higher, and only 3 on the census altogether. So, like I said, Steve Ditko comics, Steve Ditko fans, you know, people love these early Steve Ditko books. So, if you're a fan and a collector, start looking outside the superhero realm and start looking into some of the sci-fi and horror titles, because he did do interior art for those and some covers. I think we had one Steve Ditko cover here as well. So there you have our horror and sci-fi titles from the Silver Age. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.